Fala pessoal, de boa, continuando a nossa gameplay do Starfield e bora lá.
Good. You're right on time. I re-evaluated all the evidence. It took every resource I had, but the final answer is clear. Ularu is the mole.
I had a feeling Imogene wasn't responsible. That poor woman.
In due time. I'll be reaching out, but right now we need her to remain in hiding. Indeed. I've briefed Masako and discussed her plans on handling this. While we both agree Ularu is guilty, we need irrefutable evidence before presenting this to the board. For now, we lead everyone to believe that Imogene was the mole, and the situation was dealt with.
Must that poor woman's name be continuously dragged through the mud? These nonsensical decisions need to stop.
Imogene is a resourceful woman. I have no doubt she's in a safe house of her own design. In fact, she probably sees this as a paid vacation. My guess is she's lounging on a couch somewhere, binging all those movies she hasn't had time to watch. Good. Keeping Ularu in the dark is the key to taking her down. Masako has tasked Ularu with writing the program to bring down Infinity Ltd. We believe she'll take the chance to incriminate Masako within the program, so this could provide the evidence we're looking for. You will be tasked with the assignment to infiltrate Infinity, so before you go, I want you to bring that program to me. Then we'll have to find another way to build a case against Ularu. And it won't be easy. Good. Once Ularu believes she's properly deflected any suspicion, I have no doubt she'll be bold enough to hide something within whatever program she writes. Now, let's attend a meeting.
Seguindo com as missões aqui da indústria Ryujin, a gente precisa participar de uma reunião aqui com o pessoal, né? Então, vamos lá, né?
We called you all together to discuss a recent security breach. We discovered a mole within the company who leaked vital information about Project Dominion to Infinity Ltd.
You've got to be kidding me.
Just don't tell me it's Vina. I think we've all noticed she's not here.
Before you speculate any further, no, it's not Vina. The guilty party is Imogene Salzo, much to my disappointment. Our operative here obtained the evidence to confirm it.
Dalton, how does something like this happen?
Imogene is highly trained. Ularu can even speak to that. We demand the best. So that's the threat we deal with.
I may have well-trained operatives, but security is your responsibility, Dalton. This is a huge failing on your part.
I accept the responsibility, but let's not forget, the mole has already been exposed and dealt with.
Of course, thanks to another of my operatives. Watch me.
Imogene's been dealt with, so bickering is pointless. All I care about is reacquiring our property and what this might be costing us financially.
Vina is completing the internal neuroamp prototype as we speak. our operative will receive the implant, infiltrate Infinity Ltd, and obtain any and all research. I have it on good authority. The experimentations they've done to replicate the missing pieces of our work have resulted in fatalities.
Botched human trials and murder for hire? You don't bounce back from that. At least not with Infinity's legal team.
If I may make a suggestion, we should give this evidence to David at SSNN. It's the best neutral method of releasing this information to the general public.
That'd make my job easier.
David it is, then.
Misako, the internal neuroamp is ready if you want to send down the candidate.
I hope you're ready for this. And that's precisely why I know we can count on you. Vina will be waiting for you in the Neuroamp division in R&D. Once you're done, meet me in my office. Be ready to discuss the details of your next assignment.
Beleza, agora a gente precisa descer lá na área de pesquisa para encontrar a cientista para operação.
Double check those measurements are right. Anesthesia always makes me nervous.
Warning. This unit does not possess advanced surgical capabilities.
It's good to see you again. Ah, here's my lucky candidate. I hope you're ready to embark on one amazing journey. The internal neuroamp is basically the next leap in our line of influential amplifiers. It gives the user dominion over a less dominant target, meaning you can heavily influence another person's thoughts and actions. Technically, that remains to be seen. It's not legal, but those decisions will be left up to a higher power who is neither you nor me. Hey, let's not get carried away there. That terminology is a bit heavy-handed. So, are you ready to get started? Neurosurgery is my specialty. I've performed more operations than I can count on a wide variety of brains. So I like to think that I'm wildly overqualified. Really, I could do this in my sleep. Oh, don't worry. That's not on the agenda. Now, just a few details before we begin. Obviously, we'll be putting you under. I'll be making a small incision in the back of your skull where the internal neuroamp will be fitted. The whole procedure should only take 3 to 4 hours with little to no downtime afterwards, provided DeMarcus got everything entered correctly.
Did I not just say I quadruple-checked the numbers?
You know I'm just giving you a hard time. Besides, I've got to make sure my patient is reassured. There's little to no risk, assuming your brain is typical and you don't have any adverse reaction to the anesthesia. First sign of trouble, we back out and start evaluating other candidates. You're gonna be fine. All I'm saying is that you're in good hands. Now, just lie down on the table once you're ready, and we should be good to go. All right, let's get this party started. Well, look who's finally up. The operation was a success, obviously. Once you're able to refocus, let me know how you're doing. So, how are you feeling? You look good? huge success. No surprises, no signs of rejection. You were the ideal subject. Now, we just keep our fingers crossed and hope no unknown side effects come creeping in later. That's exactly what we want. Just a couple quick notes before using the internal neuroamp. First, you can only influence one person at a time. And second, the effect is temporary, so be prepared if you use it in a combat situation. Let's just say it varies based on the user. Some people have greater mental capabilities than others, which would increase the duration. Great. Now let's test this sucker out. DeMarcus has graciously volunteered for science, he says. Our preliminary testing was rigorous enough that there's little to no risk involved here. The biggest unknown was finding the perfect compatible alloy for the implant. We've had the tech itself working externally for quite some time. That's the spirit. DeMarcus loves being hands-on and experiencing things on his own. It's probably why he's the second most published scientist here, after me. Just head up the stairs nearby to the observation deck.
Beleza, aparentemente aqui então a operação foi um sucesso e agora a gente precisa fazer o teste ali, né, deste amplificador, certo? Interno. E agora é o seguinte, temos um tutorial explicando um pouquinho aí da situação, né, e a gente vai ter o teste prático ali também, né, e já dá pra ver que diplomacia, investigação, intimidação e manipulação são habilidades sociais à sua disposição durante o uso do leitor, certo? E isso daí também vai depender do nível ali, né? E se falhar, o cara fica imune. Então, mano, tem que tomar cuidado aí na hora de usar, porque senão pode dar alguma cagada. Eu demorei um pouco pra entender a situação ali, tá? Meio que a gente tem que dar um comando e já mandar ele fazer ali a ação. E pra ele fazer a próxima, a gente tem que pegar ele ali e dar outro comando pra executar a ação, né? Então, ó, eu abri de novo ali. Procurei o ponto. Eu tenho que mirar no cara de novo, tá ligado? Pra conseguir mandar ele pra lá, ó. O bagulho, tipo, não manda normal. É uma mecânica que eu vou ser bem sincero, meio merda, tá? Nossa senhora, é uma mecânica meio ruim, viu? Não é por nada, não. Tipo, tem hora... o bicho vem correndo atrás de você. Se ele ficasse parado ali, beleza. Mas não, ó, ele vem pra cima. E, mano, tem hora que o bagulho funciona, tem hora que não funciona. É algo meio, né, complicadinho, tá? Eu, sinceramente, prefiro ao máximo não utilizar essa mecânica aqui, tá? O que der pra me fazer pra evitar, eu vou evitar, porque, rapaz, não tá lisinho não, viu? Tá meio estranho ainda.
Oh my god, that was incredible! What was it like?
Wow. How to describe it? 1 minute I was excited about seeing how the experiment would go. The next, I had a brief moment of disorientation and figured I must have lost my train of thought. It felt eerily natural. And yes, I admit it, just as you predicted.
I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! I can hardly wait to finish writing up my latest dissertation. And you owe me 100 creds.
I'll be keeping myself under constant surveillance now. I'm curious if any other side effects may manifest.
So, tell me all about it. How did it feel? Any side effects? Well, I'd leave that up for Alexis and Lyndon to decide. Compensation's not really my thing. Yes! Good. Hear that, DeMarcus? That's 2 for 2 now.
I heard. It really was fascinating how all I experienced was a moment of disorientation. It's truly remarkable tech. Those are the kind of edge cases that I let the board work out. Obviously, tech like this is going to come with its fair share of red tape. Not at all. But I can imagine if I experienced disorientation like that, but regained my awareness in another room. It could be a bit jarring. We'll definitely be running some more tests in the future, though. So many situations to account for. When it comes to your job, you bet it does. Besides, the neuroamp isn't total control. If a subject's morals or beliefs in something are strong enough, we still see points of failure. That being said, it's been interesting to discover the actions our subjects sanction in their own minds.
Okay. As much as I'd love to go over the details and potential of this amazing piece of technology I created, Masako wants to see you. It sounds like you have an assignment to complete, and DeMarcus and I have a lot of notes to record.
They know how to make a client.
Good, you're here. I wasn't sure how accurate Vina's promise of no downtime was going to be.
Let's just hope her promise of no brain damage holds true as well.
Now that you've been outfitted with the internal neuroamp, it's time to put that tech to work. We're sending you into Infinity Ltd. Lucas Drexler is about to learn exactly why you don't steal from Ryujin Industries. All right. Yuko has provided a layout of Infinity Ltd. You have two options for this assignment. We'll be providing you with the means for both. Option A, you gain entry through their maintenance access on the roof. Option B, we give you an assigned identity and arrange a meeting for you. Option A, you need to remain under the radar the entire time. Option B, you have a slight cover that may give you the opportunity to talk your way to your objectives. Of course not. The meeting is just a legitimate way in. Once inside, you'll be led to a waiting room where your host will be running late. That's your opportunity to make your way to either the executive floor or R&D. As long as you're prepared when the time comes. Now, depending on your preference, you'll either find yourself in the maintenance hallway or the marketing department. From there, you have 3 targets. First, you have Lucas Drexler's computer, located in his office on the executive floor. Second is Faye Sengsavan's computer, in research and development. And third, you need to obtain the prototype they are working on, also in R&D.
As you can see, you've several floors to traverse, so I hope you're prepared for an adventure.
You'll only have free range on the marketing floor. Infinity may be cheap, but they know at least some level of security is needed in this business. That's what we're counting on. Now, I had Ularu create a program that you need to run on both Lucas and Faye's computers. I'll let her explain the details.
You see, once we expose Infinity Ltd., all of their data is going to come under intense scrutiny. We only want the public to know about their mercenary hires and unauthorized human trials, but Project Dominion needs to remain confidential. I've created an overseer program that will gather all the evidence we need, and at the same time delete anything relating to Ryujin and the internal neuroamp. Anyone who comes forward to defend Lucas would be prosecuted as either aiding or being an accessory to these crimes. They all know career suicide when they see it. As for Lucas himself, if he wants to speak up and add corporate theft to his laundry list of crimes, fine. But who's going to believe him?
With tech like that, I can see why you'd want to maintain control of the narrative, though I strongly object to the methods.
If the media were to draw their own conclusions, I'm certain they'd just create a panic among people. Controlling the narrative is of the utmost importance.
Oh, let's just hope this program is as thorough as you say then. and a safe.
Now, we don't want to mess on this one. A body count will only distract from what we're trying to accomplish here. In fact, unless they're a master at being one with the shadows, I'd suggest you leave your friend behind. Lower the risk. Simon Rychek provided some useful info on how to evacuate civilians from the building. I'm sure you remember him from Sidonia. Infinity's maintenance crew is understaffed. It's only a matter of time before pressure gauges go unchecked and they have a massive issue on their hands. Once that pressure becomes too much, every floor in the building is going to suffer from gas leaks, setting off an automated alarm to evacuate the building. Simon was able to get a passcode for you to access their system's computer, so you can force the heating system to fail. I'm told security has masks to handle the situation, so the guards will still be stationed in the building. It's also possible they'll activate their building's defense system as well. You may run into a few automated turrets, so you'll still want to try and stay out of sight. If the information Simon provided is accurate, you can reach the control systems through a computer located in the maintenance area. It's a pretty convenient stop if you enter in through the roof access. I'd highly advise you use it. This assignment isn't the time to test your abilities. The only thing you're out there to prove is that you can get this job done. We're also issuing you an operative suit. It should help reduce their ability to detect you. These suits are typically reserved for the senior ranks, but we want to reduce as much risk as possible. Please, you're an exception. But we can talk promotion after you pull off this assignment. And that's what we're hoping for. If you can pull this off, even I'll be impressed.
Once you've run the Overseer program and obtained the prototype, your final step is to deliver the slate to David Barron at the SSNN field office. If he asks questions, feel free to give him just enough information to pique his interest, but no mention of Ryujin or who you are. SSNN is used to anonymous tips. They'll do whatever verifications they deem necessary on their own to confirm the story. Ularu assured me it's safe.
The Overseer program will purge itself once its primary function is complete. The only thing left on that slate will be proof of Infinity's crimes.
It doesn't matter what he believes. David's first move will be to verify the information you provide. Once he receives confirmation, which he will, he'll see it as his duty to report the news. It certainly will, and we'll have front row seats. So, any final questions before you go? You'll be restricted to the marketing floor. An appointment is not a free pass. You have the ability to manipulate others. If someone's in your way, you could get them to move. If someone has a keycard, that means you have a keycard. The possibilities here are really up to you. Pay attention. We're giving you a slate with a program that has to be run on Lucas Drexler and Fei Sengsavan's computers. You also need to steal their current prototype of the internal neuroamp kept on their R&D floor. Once you're done, you're bringing the slate to David Barron at SSNN, and you're returning here to me with the prototype. Depending on whether or not you evacuate the building, you'll mostly be looking at security guards, much like we have here. You may encounter an automated defense system in the form of turrets as well, so be careful. Good luck, And be sure to report directly back to me when you return.
Here's Simon's passcode, your operative suit, the Overseer program, and your cover identity. Your cover ID card is encoded with roof entry and elevator access, so that's your ticket in, either way. Don't screw this up, Skylar Lumen.
Do you have the program? I'm certain Ularu won't pass up this opportunity. So, let's take a look. Aha! The decryption's hit a snag. There's definitely something here. This is exactly what we needed. According to this code, Ularu intended to plant false evidence that would show Masako was working with Lucas. The moment you launched the Overseer program, a series of fabricated communication files would have been uploaded to the Infinity Ltd network. One of them even frames Masako for encouraging Lucas to push for early human trials.
First Imogene, now Masako. Ularu keeps using people as rungs on the way up the ladder. Any one of us could be next.
I'm going to copy the necessary files off this slate and issue you a new one. I want to keep this one intact, so Ularu can't dispute it. All right. Now, we finally have the evidence we need to prove Ularu's guilt.
Good. Then let's nail Ularu right to the wall. She deserves everything that's coming her way.
There's no doubt. Should you have even noticed the upload, the program itself is designed to ignore any stop commands. It would have been too late. Yes, and had you not brought this program to me in the first place, you would have been the one planting the false evidence. Without that falsified evidence, Ularu is in for a big surprise. I fully expect she'll be eagerly awaiting SSNN's broadcast, anticipating Masako to be accused alongside Lucas Drexler. Here's the new slate with the revised Overseer program. Let's get this assignment finished the right way.
Beleza, pessoal, e agora a gente vai viajar lá para Nova Atlântida, certo? Aí eu já dei um corte ali, né, só pra mostrar pra vocês também. Temos esse traje de agente, tá? Ele melhora ali também, ó, a nossa furtividade em 25%. Isso aí é bem interessante pra nós, certo? Chegando aqui de frente, a gente vai ter opções. Ou podemos entrar com a nossa identidade falsa lá naquela empresa, tranquilo. Dá pra passar por aqui também. Ou a gente pode evitar toda essa área aí, né? E ter acesso direto ali por uma entrada escondida, tá? Que é que eu vou utilizar ali pra gente, né? Evitar algumas coisinhas também, certo? Claro que é uma missão ali em modo furtivo, de preferência, tá? E ela é bem chatinha. Se brincar, até agora foi uma das missões ali de furtivo mais complicadas de completar, mano. Porque o que dá pra você fazer uma cagada ali e alertar todos os guardas, mano do céu, é muito fácil. E até com esse traje aqui, eu vou ser bem sincero, ainda assim é fácil de dar merda. Bom, aqui é o padrão. É interessante você manipular o guarda para desativar ali, ó, o interruptor. Aí parou. A gente vai passar aqui. Temos um outro opcional que é sabotar um sistema que está marcado aqui. E ali é o nosso caminho. Vou dar uma olhadinha aqui só de leve pra ver se não vai dar nenhum BO ali. O cara tá lá em cima ainda de boa. Vamos sabotar isso daqui agora.
Gas leak detected. All non-essential personnel must evacuate the building. Please find the nearest exit and contact emergency services.
Aí agora só vai ter guardas, tá? Não terá ali alguns empresários, civis e esse tipo de situação, tá? Vamos dar uma olhadinha com calma. Ó, tem uma tubulação ali, mas eu acho que não vai ser pra ir agora. O nosso objetivo tá ali, certo? Aqui é o seguinte, vai ter aí o gás, então é meio complicado. Já deu pra reparar que tem um guarda aqui também, ó, rondando. Então o que eu vou fazer? Eu vou tentar manipular o guarda pra mandar ele lá pra baixo. Opa, tem um sofá ali, ó. Manda ele pra lá. Até ele chegar lá, o que a gente vai fazer aqui? Vou ir abaixado ainda, porque pode dar algum BO. Eu não sei se tem mais guarda em algum lugar. Vou descer na frente da porta. Resolver a tranca. Aqui a gente vai ter o cofre. Resolvi de novo só pra mostrar pra vocês mesmo. E aí a gente vai ter ali do lado o computador, que é o nosso objetivo, tá? Que vai ter mais uma tranca aí pra você resolver. Coisa simples aí também. Temos algumas informações ali que eu sempre vou mostrar pra vocês aqui mesmo. Então quem quiser dar uma lida é só pausar o vídeo. Beleza, completamos este objetivo, tá? E agora a gente vai sair aqui até um pouquinho rápido, tá? E eu vou pular por aqui porque o guarda já deve estar voltando para sua posição original. Agora deixa eu me encontrar primeiro aqui, para ver para onde eu vou. Tem um guarda ali embaixo. Ah, dá pra subir aqui, ó. Beleza. Vamos ver. Isso daqui vai dar na onde? É, não adiantou muito pra ser bem sincero, tá? Bom, então, se não é esse caminho, eu acho que vai ser naquela outra tubulação mesmo. Vamos voltar, porque eu perdi só tempo mesmo. Tem guarda aí pra baixo, né? Vou dar uma olhada aqui só pra ver essa área. Bom, tem nada também. Vamos entrar nesta tubulação aqui. E ver na onde que ela vai dar também. Ah, eu acho que é esse caminho mesmo, pera aí. Creio eu que vai dar no banheiro aqui. É ele mesmo, beleza. Vou dar um save aqui por precaução. Beleza, né? Então vamos lá. Eu dei um save aqui por precaução, por quê, né? Rapaz, eu tentei algumas vezes, viu? Sendo bem sincero, eu acabei falhando ali em passar aqui antes de chegar aqui também, em alguns momentos ali, porque, mano, essa missãozinha aqui é complicadinha, tá? Mesmo com a furtividade no máximo, mesmo com o 7 ali, né, que melhora um pouco aí a furtividade da BO. Aqui você tem que ficar bem escondido pro guarda passar ali, ó. Porque se você ficar atrás da mesa ali, vai dar bosta também. Eu já falhei ficando atrás da mesa. Então, mano, é osso, tá? A área que a gente tem que ficar é bem fora da visão dele. Porque a chance de dar merda é grande. Aqui também, ó, eu preciso esperar ele ir lá pelo outro lado. Porque se ele passar aqui e eu já entrar e embicar aqui com o personagem pra continuar, pode ser que o guarda que tava lá atrás esteja olhando nesse corredor e você se lasque, tá? Tem que estar tudo muito bem alinhadinho, tá? E ainda fazendo dessa forma aqui pode dar ruim. Porque o guarda lá de trás, ó, que eu tô até olhando na direção dele ali, pode estar olhando nesse corredor aqui e você se lascar. E aqui a mesma coisa. Eu dei outro save ali. E tô bem no cantinho aqui, ó. Espera um pouco ele avançar. E a gente já, mano, acelera. O problema é que agora a gente vai ter um guarda que não tem muito escapatória, tá? Porque a gente não pode ficar vacilando tanto ali. Eu acho que eu errei, né? A parte da cadeira. Eu coloquei pra ele pegar alguma coisa. Mas beleza. Ele tá atordoado ainda, ó. Então, meio que a detecção dele tá funcionando e não tá ao mesmo tempo. Deixa eu fechar aqui e me esconder um pouco. Porque na hora que ele voltar ao normal ali, ele não pode me ver. Ó. Tamo safe. E aí a gente continua porque ele vai voltar para a posição dele. Porque lembra-se, tá? Que quando a gente toma o controle de alguém ali, o cara fica meio desorientado por um momento. Então a gente tem um tempo, né, de desorientação dele. E mesmo que ele veja você, ele não vai alertar os guardas porque ele tá desorientado. Então a gente utilizou isso para conseguir avançar ali. E com isso a gente vai, né, seguindo em frente também. Querendo ou não, vamos ter que passar ali dentro dos gases ali, né? Não tem muito o que fazer. Às vezes temos que nos arriscar, porque é o jeito, tá? Eu acho que eu acabei pegando o caminho mais longo, mano. Mas não tem problema. Olha lá, é isso mesmo. A gente vai chegar lá de qualquer forma. O objetivo tá ali, ó. E é isso aí, falei que eu peguei o caminho mais longo ali, mas de boa. Bom, vamos descer aqui até o posto ali do elevador. Rapaz, quase deu ruim. Não dá pra passar aqui, velho. Tem uma parede invisível. Bom, aqui a gente já tem uma situação que é mais ou menos, né? Mais ou menos complicada, porque querendo ou não a gente precisa pular pro outro lado lá. Ou pular ali, ó. Bem naquela beiradinha ali do nosso canto mesmo. Eu vou pular pro outro lado ali. Mas aqui também a gente corre um pequeno risco aí de alertar todo mundo. Porque o pulo ali furtivo não consegue chegar do outro lado, tá? É onde pode dar bosta. Aí agora a gente tem que atravessar pro outro lado, porém é algo bem arriscado, tá? Ó, quase deu merda. Tem torreta, tem guarda pra caramba ali, ó. Eu vou esperar um pouco. E por precaução, eu vou dar um save aqui também. Bem aqui na frente, porque senão pode dar algum BO agora. E vamos seguindo em frente. Aqui também eu falhei algumas vezes ali, porque eu tive que, vamos dizer que, né, entender algumas coisas, porque às vezes você deixa ali áreas abertas e aí pode dar merda. E eu acabei descobrindo isso da pior maneira. Vocês vão entender na hora que eu chegar no mesmo ponto que eu tava ali. Aqui, padrão. Bem escondidinho aqui, ó, beirando a parede, você consegue ter acesso ao computador lá na parte de cima, então é uma coisa bem tranquila aí. Não é algo tão complicado esta parte em específico, só vai dar mais merda mesmo caso você aí cague no rolê, né? Tem um cofre aí que eu nem vou mexer nele. Objetivo concluído, agora precisamos obter ali, né, o neuroamplificador. Temos algumas informações que eu vou deixar um pouco para vocês na tela, quem quiser dar uma lida é só pausar o vídeo. Beleza, aí a gente vai continuar, mesma coisa, vem aqui beirando a parede para não dar qualquer tipo de BO e a gente vai passar por esta porta aqui. Agora, por enquanto, é uma coisa bem tranquila, pelo menos no corredor, tá? Chegando aqui, eu dei mais um save por precaução, porque deu BO comigo, bem aqui na frente. Algumas vezes, por quê? Temos uma torreta ali na parte de cima. Ela também pode te ver, tá? Então é bom esperar ela ali virar pro outro lado e você aproveitar ali, ó, e já passar rapidão. Outra coisa, não deixe essa porta aberta, porque um guarda pode entrar aqui. Feche ela, pelo amor de Deus, porque tem um guarda rondando lá fora. Eu deixei esta merda aberta e o guarda entrou aqui dentro e deu BO. Não pegue nada ainda. Feche a persiana, porque senão vai alertar o sistema, vai alertar os guardas. E temos também a segurança do item, que é mais uma coisa que a gente vai ter que desativar antes de interagir com o item lá, senão vai dar merda, tá? Fiquem espertos nisso. E agora a gente vai dar uma olhadinha com mais calma aí, pegar as coisas também, para começar ali a nossa retirada do rolê, né? Porque precisamos sair daqui sem dar merda também. E a gente vai ter que fazer o caminho de volta inteiro, tá? Mais uma revista aqui, ó. Da hora, ó. É uma revista com bônus. Legal, legal. E agora sim, a gente vai pegar o item da missão. Bom, e aí precisamos sair da área, né? Coisa que eu vou dar mais um save porque eu cheguei até aqui. Então é interessante por precaução, né? Porque ainda pode dar merda na hora da saída. Beleza, e agora a gente precisa, né, vazar daqui, certo? O caminho para ir embora é o mesmo que a gente fez para chegar até aqui, voltando pela tubulação ali e tudo mais, tá? Vou tentar ser um pouquinho mais direto e, mano, e reto, porque senão pode dar ruim. Ficar demorando muito aqui dá merda. Não tem porta? Bom, vamos lá. Voltamos para a tubulação, a gente tá um pouquinho mais seguro agora. Deve ter outros métodos, além de vir aqui e sair dando bala em todo mundo também. É opção, não vou dizer que não é, tá? Mas deve ter outros meios para você conseguir passar com mais tranquilidade também. É aquilo, né? A gente vai fazendo conforme entra na missão ali. Eu não sei qual que é o caminho correto. Eu consegui fazer a partir desse aqui. Teve alguns momentos que eu errei ali, peguei caminho que não tinha nada a ver com a história, mas a gente conseguiu completar a missão. O problema agora é que eu acho que como eu utilizei a parte de manipulação, o cara tá imune agora, né? É, ó. Tem isso também, tá? Utilizou uma vez, o cara fica imune. O que eu vou ter que fazer? Eu vou me afastar um pouquinho e vou pular pro outro lado lá, né? E seja que Deus quiser. Vou ficar na moralzinha. Esperar abaixar ali, porque ele tá procurando ainda. Beleza. A gente conseguiu passar por ele aqui de boa. E o nosso objetivo ali, ó, é o elevador, tá? A gente pode tanto pegar pela tubulação como aqui, tá? A gente vai sair lá da porta da frente, vamos dizer assim, da empresa. Porque a gente poderia conversar com a recepcionista, pegar o elevador e descer na tubulação também. Então, esses são os dois caminhos que a gente tem aqui, tá? E agora, coisa simples. A gente só precisa ir lá no repórter e entregar as informações para ele e voltar lá na Ryujin.
Can I help you? Well, I'll be the judge of that. What's this so-called story about? All right, I'll take a look. I don't suppose you want to tell me how you got this evidence. Well, obviously the truth is what matters most, but oftentimes the source can help substantiate the evidence. We have a reputation to uphold as a news network. I'm sure you can understand that. I figured as much. Is there at least a name I can cite as my source? Why am I not surprised? As long as the evidence is adequate and verifiable, I expect it'll be aired within the hour, if not sooner. Now, if you'll excuse me, I obviously have some work to do.
I've yet to hear anything of note on SSNN. Let's hear your report. Good. David won't be able to resist a story like this. He'll do some preliminary confirmations, which will be enough to get the broadcast out to the public. And how did the neuroamp perform? I thought it would be. So now it's just a waiting game for SSNN to break the news. Once the story airs, we have another board meeting scheduled to decide how to handle Infinity. Go ahead, Maeve.
The SSNN broadcast has started. Shall I patch it through?
Yes, thank you.
Infinity Ltd. And Lucas Drexler are currently under investigation for a number of violations, including murder for hire, unauthorized human trials, and corporate theft. Authorities representing the UC and the Freestar Collective have been dispatched to a consolidated mining station and the clinic. Both locations are believed to hold numerous victims. Drexler's motivation appears to be an attempt to launch a new product based off stolen information from a competitor. The details on the project itself and the competitor have yet to be confirmed. This has been David Barron for SSNN.
Perfect. This exposure puts Infinity right where we want them. The meeting will begin momentarily, but I want you to discuss the options we have with the other members. Infinity's net worth is about to hit rock bottom. So this gives us the opportunity to win a little more public faith. Infinity is about to crumble before the eyes of the public. They employ thousands of people, and those thousands of people are now worried about their jobs. That's where we come in. First, we'll issue a public statement expressing disgust at their leadership, but sympathy for the innocent workers. That's when we offer to acquire them. Quite right. The truth is, we'll be making evaluations. We'll shed any employees who don't make the cut, slowly but surely. By incorporating Infinity, we eliminate a competitor, get their best employees and contracts, and all while boosting our public perception.
Shed any employees. Ugh. Terminology like that, where you reference manipulating people's lives. Oh, it makes my skin crawl.
We've already done some initial evaluations, so I'm certain of it. Infinity has a lot of appeal being in New Atlantis. I'm sure plenty of brilliant minds are there because they prefer the location. Plus, there's always that handful of people that think they've got something to prove by not working for Ryujin. As if other corporations are really any better. I'm glad we're on the same page. Which is why I'd like you to talk to the board to convince them this is the right move. There are several who might disagree, and you have the perfect tool to help sway them. Yes, that's exactly what it's designed for. The bright side being, they'll never know. Good. You'll find most of the board members in their offices preparing. Vina is also here, waiting for the meeting to start. We'll need at least 50% of the vote to go our way. In the event of a tie, I will make the final decision. I trust you'll get it done.
E aqui, né, a gente chega na última missão, aonde você pode decidir os caminhos aí que você mesmo quiser. Se quiser apoiar ela ali na compra, né, no caso da Infinity, é opcional de vocês. E também na parte do neuroamplificador é opcional de vocês, tá? Isso aí é critério totalmente seu.
Did Masako send you to try and convince me to acquire Infinity Ltd? I think we both know that's not going to work. Our public perception is good enough. If you ask me, reaching out to save Infinity just makes us look weak. The internal neuroamp gives us the power to crush our competitors, not take them under our wing. This is exactly why Masako's time as CEO is finished. Good. If you use that neuroamp wisely, it will guarantee that Infinity gets shut down. The corporate world will hear SSNN's story and believe Ryujin exposed Infinity because they stole from us. It sends a strong message. But acquiring Infinity could be interpreted as a safety net. Infinity tried to screw us over, yet they still survived. We need to be sending a much stronger message. If you mess with Ryujin, we'll shut you down. Period. Well, it does make Ryujin look good. And we do gain a wider customer base, which means higher profits. You're oddly right about this one, Op. I guess you are worth keeping around. As long as everyone has Ryujin's best interests in mind, this should make for an interesting meeting. An issue? That would be a foolish move. Dalton and Alexis are the only two against it. You'd never get the rest to shut it down. As long as we have the proper safeguards and rules in place, the benefits exponentially outweigh the drawbacks. Even if we limit the usage to Ryujin Industries employees alone, the advantages are too numerous to count. Dangerous indeed. For all I know, you're using it right now. The irony. Perhaps I didn't see it earlier, but you're right. The moment a competitor reverse engineers Vina's work, it'll be chaos. The last thing I want is to have my brain scrambled because some engineer didn't do their due diligence. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot of preparations to make.
You operatives really will wear anything. Just the person I wanted to see. I want to get all the details locked down for this meeting, and I believe you to be one of the best sources available. Good. I prefer first-hand feedback when available. You've had the chance to encounter members of Infinity Ltd. Throughout your assignments here. Do you think they're worth redemption? And why? Oh, I didn't mean in regards to Drexler's actions. More in the sense of, should a superior company like Ryujin make room for so many potentially lackluster employees? Perhaps I wanted to see if I could be convinced otherwise. It's easy to say, it's the right thing to do for someone in your position. But for me, Infinity Ltd. Is a huge financial unknown. It's high risk versus mediocre reward. That is a plea more well spent on Genevieve or Alexis. I prefer to focus on the numbers and leave emotions out of my decision-making. This is true. Infinity never had the financial resources to match our salary offers. Getting what few capable employees they have at half the salary we typically pay here could have major payoffs in the long run. Next question. What is your opinion on how Masako handled the mole situation? And why do you feel it was well handled? Please note I'm not disagreeing. I just want to know the why behind your statement. Being prepared for anything is a great asset, one that Masako excels at. I appreciate the insight. I suppose I should ask if there's anything I can do for you, considering how helpful you've been. It's the next big step for Ryujin Industries. Financially, it'll keep us secure for years to come. There's no doubt it's our future. It's only dangerous to those who can't afford one. Hence the added motivation that will bolster sales. The guarantee depends on if we're willing to make the financial commitment to outfitting each employee with at least a shielding component. A cost that's not lost on me as CFO. I think we all know how averse I am to chaos. Finances are my forte, so you make a good point. Our competition has yet to truly master neuroamps, but the possibility is there. It's a risk I am unwilling to take. At this time. This has been rather enlightening for me. I appreciate the time.
Is Misako checking up on me to make sure I'm on her side? Because that's what I do. You want something in this business? You don't pull any punches. The only real question is just how persuasive she asked you to be. Well, you can let Misako know to rest easy. It just so happens that her agenda lines up with mine. We just need to grab Infinity Ltd. While it's got the public's full attention. I'm all about free PR, especially when it's painting us in a good light. The only downsides are the unknowns. Lyndon and Alexis are gonna have a lot on their hands. Not that I'm getting off easy. Whatever they find, if it hits the public, that's gonna fall on my shoulders too. Infinity is that sad company in distress with thousands of employees terrified of their futures right now. We are the warm embrace of security coming to rescue them. I'm sure I can squeeze enough goodwill out of this to last us at least a year. The consumer is our lifeblood, so capturing their wants and desires, of course, it's all I care about. I'm sure I wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't. All right, I suppose you've earned the right to voice your opinion after everything you've done, qualified or not. So let's hear it. Of course, which is why I know it requires some very delicate handling. But unlike Alexis, I believe we can get the proper restrictions and regulations in place to have a marketable product. We do it every day with weapons we arm ourselves and our ships with. Don't I know it? I think Alexis and I are truly going to have our work cut out for one another. We'll discuss security ramifications with Dalton, and I'm sure there are alterations, safety nets, if you will, that we'll need from Vina. It's sure to be quite the undertaking. Well, it seems your talents really do stretch beyond just being an operative. Good talk. Maybe I'll even consult you on future endeavors.
If operations starts to bore you, let me know. You'd make a perfect lab rat for the R&D team. And how's my favorite patient doing? Not seeing any temporal memory flashes or losing time, I hope. What? No, of course not. They're purely theoretical. That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. One step closer to seeing market approval. Genevieve is going to be so excited. So, tell me what you think of the neuroamp. I hope you're not actually suggesting that the technology I spent years working on and perfecting never sees the light of day. This is groundbreaking work. My life's work. Of course I do. But there are amazing things Dominion can be used for, too. Humanity has always created dangers, and we've always policed them as well. The internal neuroamp will be no different. It just needs to find its place. Fine, fine. Make your case. You really think they could come after me? Well, perhaps I really do need more data. And would I feel responsible as the creator? Well, this conversation's made me feel like a proper monster. But you're right. In a perfect world, tech like this is used for good. But this world is far from perfect. It is. It really is. For years, my only focus has been, is this possible? And then, how do I make it work? I never stopped to consider if it was right, or what it would mean. I guess it'll be up to a vote either way. It's not on the meeting agenda, so I assume you'll bring it up yourself? We just have to hope the others will see reason. So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity Ltd be? I'd like to acquire them, although it won't break my heart if we don't. Faye may have stepped over a line in her attempt to replicate my work, but she's a brilliant engineer. I'm very curious to see what else she may have been working on and dig into her research. Exactly. Not that I want to gloat over it. Maybe just a little. Okay, so DeMarcus and I have really been looking forward to it, so fingers crossed this deal goes through. Well, this has certainly been the most interesting conversation of my day. All we can do now is look forward to the meeting, right? See you in there.
So much work to do. Well, if it isn't my favorite operative, something I can help you with? You heard correct. I've every reason to believe that Infinity Ltd is the Pandora's box of corporations. I can guarantee that Infinity Ltd was up to more than just the current charges. The process of finding and following up on all those threads won't be easy. I refuse to be blindsided by another corporation's past, so this is going to take a lot of time and patience. All right, I could use the entertainment. Tell me why Infinity is a good asset. You're right. Perhaps I am focusing too much on the negatives. I do pride myself on solid contracts, and this one would be especially challenging. Huh. Well, what do you know? I think you just convinced me. Talent like yours belongs in the courtroom. Don't even get me started. First off, if I find out you used that device on me, I will tie you up in court on whatever charges I can conjure for the rest of your life. Second, That tech is one major human rights violation that no legal team wants to fight. I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's either severely delayed or collects dust in storage. Because the external neuroamps are built to help the user on a personal level. They aid in reason, communication, confidence, all things that can make the difference in a person's self-image. And yes, they can be abused. But that's why there are laws regarding improper usage. Tech like this only has good applications when you have complete control over who uses it. Once that tech hits a market, open or private, that control is gone. And not only that, the tech is out there to be advanced or modified by anyone who might get their hands on it. Well, I'm both glad and surprised to hear the one person who has one say that. Misako is lucky to have you at her disposal, you know? You may be the greatest asset, aside from the internal neuroamp, that Ryujin has. This exchange has been surprisingly insightful, but now I really do need to get back to my notes.
This meeting should prove to be very interesting. I assume Misako briefed you on her preferred outcome. That blasted tech. If it were up to me, I'd have shut down Project Dominion a long time ago. I knew it was a grave security risk, and look what happened. Completely. I understand the success it can bring for the corporation, but my only concern here is security. It's not that the board majority fails to see the dangers. It's that they believe we can overcome them. That hubris could easily bring this corporation down one day. I only hope it won't be on my watch. It's not often, but yes. And I'm not the only board member that initially voted against moving forward with the research. You read my mind. Let's just hope Misako and the others see it that way. Plus, if we vote to acquire Infinity Ltd., we're about to add a significant workload onto my team. The last thing I want to deal with are any more incidents this new neuroamp might cause. Well, the timing could be better, but I don't feel strongly one way or another about the acquisition. We've gone through our fair share in the past, and this one would be no different. If Misako wishes to bring Infinity into the fold, I will not stand against it. I imagine we're looking at months of work. Infinity Ltd. is obviously not known for their security. I only hope that Misako and the others will be patient with the process. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some preparations to make. We'll be announcing Ularu's termination of employment at this meeting, so I need to have security ready to escort her off the premises.
All right, everyone. As you all know, we've successfully exposed Infinity Ltd.'s botched human trials and murder for hire through SSNN. The public is demanding their leadership, namely Lucas Drexler, face trial, and he's probably writing his resignation as we speak. Ryujin will be launching a statement, but I believe now is the perfect time to acquire Infinity Ltd.
Believe it or not, I agree. The acquisition has risks, and it's going to create a lot of work for all of us. But the overall payoff will be worth it.
That and Infinity Ltd's current situation makes them more affordable than ever.
Arguments? None? Excellent. Moving on, then.
I think what we're all overlooking is what led us to this situation to begin with. Yes, our security was compromised. But considering Dalton was hired by Masako, the issue obviously starts at the top. In fact, I propose that Masako be removed from CEO altogether.
Ularu, this isn't a line you want to cross.
And considering you're the mole, if anyone's going to be removed from power, it's going to be you.
Hold up. Are you saying you lied to us?
Dalton, the last meeting we had, you distinctly said Imogene was the mole, and she'd been dealt with.
Do you even have any proof to back up this outrageous claim?
Of course we do. The malicious code you hid on this slate to upload incriminating evidence against Masako onto Lucas Drexler's computer.
To put it bluntly, Ularu, you're fired. Security will hold you in your office until a proper exit interview can be done.
This isn't right. I should at least have the opportunity to resign.
And allow you to still be marketable to a competitor? I don't think so. This may be news to me, and I will be reviewing the evidence closely. But this isn't something you just get to walk away from.
Security, escort Miss Chen to her office and see that she stays put.
You'll regret this. All of you.
I believe the only regret would be trusting you to begin with.
All right, back to business. All in favor of acquiring Infinity Ltd?
Aye.
Good. Alexis, start drawing up the necessary documentation. Anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up? The internal neuroamp is a key component of Ryujin Industries' success for the next 10 years, if not more. Why would we shelve it after we've finally perfected it? Well?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but she's right. Regardless of the pros, the cons are too morally and ethically irresponsible to move forward with.
I must agree. We can't go through with production on technology like this until certain safeties can be guaranteed.
Very well. All in favor of shelving Project Dominion?
Aye.
All against?
Nay.
Vina, prep Project Dominion for storage. Any other matters to bring forth? None? This concludes our order of business for today. Shelving the internal neuroamp. Not the outcome I anticipated. A fine point, but it still proves its usefulness. The truth remains, Lucas Drexler learned a hard lesson, and we exposed a traitor among us. You've proven yourself to be quite the asset here at Ryujin. Of course, but these particular assignments required a certain secrecy that most do not. I truly appreciate the work you put into exposing Ularu. No operative has ever had to investigate our own to the extent that you did. I can imagine it may have been a lot of pressure considering you were fairly new at the time.
Yes, I'm proud of you as well. Ularu needed to be brought down. If you wouldn't have stopped her, who knows what she would have done next.
Not often, and certainly not to this degree. We have the occasional employee consider selling information, but thanks to our security and operations teams, we always catch them before any damage can be done. This was the first time anyone from either department was involved. Imogene's instincts were right about you. Now, as promised, I have your bonus. I hope you'll find it appropriate for all you've done. And I'm promoting you to senior operative. You've more than earned it. It's well deserved. As for the details, I think someone back on the operations floor would prefer to explain those to you.
Como isso daqui, cada um escolhe o que quiser na reunião, tá? Eu não apoiei a parte do neuroamplificador ali interno, porque é uma tecnologia muito perigosa e com certeza vai dar merda. Porém, eu ajudei ela a adquirir a Infinity, então, né, ficou meio termo.
You've certainly shaken things up around here. I still can't believe Ularu tried to frame me. An obvious misjudgment on my part. But now that's all in the past. It's time to get back to your typical day-to-day. Of course, if you think anyone here believes in downtime, forget it. And I'd say it's good to be back if I hadn't returned to a mountain of paperwork. Now, since you were new, you've been dealing with people, but most of our assignments are generated on the mission board. The board holds any available assignments that our techs have pieced together, and I've approved. Questions? Nothing you aren't already familiar with. You experienced the majority of what we do here during your training, if you recall. Uploading a few files, manipulating a narrative or two, obtaining schematics, it's just more of the same. Well, after this conversation, you can head up to your office and see for yourself. Just think of it as a computer that lets you pick and choose your assignments at will, rather than having to deal with me all the time. No, but try to see that as an improvement, since I certainly do. The mission board is more efficient for both of us. Good. The mission board is generally self-explanatory anyway. With your promotion, you've earned yourself an office, so whenever you're ready, you can find your own personal mission board inside. And the best perk of them all, you're free to make your own hours. Oh, and congratulations, of course. No, only within the tower. The security risk would be far too much to allow access to that data in a public space. You certainly will. Go check out the board, and if you have any questions, I suppose I can start up an open door policy, just for you.
E agora aqui também a gente tem ali, né, uma parte de missões aí, né, repetitivas, tá? Temos uma salinha só pra gente aqui na indústria Ryujin, certo? E a gente pode aceitar missões aí igual, né? A parte da UC, vanguarda e por aí vai, beleza, pessoal? Bom, vou encerrando o vídeo por aqui. Se gostou, deixa o like, se inscreva no canal. Valeu, falou e até a próxima. E claro, essa missão ela tem mais finais ali. Se você quiser ficar do lado da mina lá do mal, também é opcional. É tudo escolha do jogador, beleza?